During our early years of marriage, my wife would ask questions like, so how many times did you poop and fart today? I would get really upset and agitated anytime she would ask questions like that. I mean, who in the world keeps record of how many times they poop and they fart in a day, right? There are more important things to talk about. Souls are out there in the world perishing, and here you are concerning yourself with such irrelevancies. It was over time, however, that I discovered that that was just our own way of saying, Mr. Kayode Kolade, lighten up. Stop taking yourself too seriously. I mean, there's only one El-Shaddai in the entire universe, and the day you try to be El-Shaddai, that day thou shalt die. It just reminds me of that epic scene from Christopher Nolan's Batman, The Dark Knight, where Heath Ledger's Joker puts a knife to the mouth of a guy and says, why so serious? So many times I have to ask myself that same question, Kayode, why so serious? And I believe that on our journey to becoming the very best version of ourselves, on our journey to becoming all that we are created to be, from time to time, we need to pull ourselves aside and ask ourselves that same question, why so serious? A lot of the time we want people to acknowledge us, to acknowledge what we do, to acknowledge that what we are doing is great and grand, to acknowledge that what we are doing is significant, that it's life-changing, that it will impact the lives of people and change the world. We have this entitlement mindset that because we are doing something that is grand, life-changing, that will impact lives and change the world, that people should drop everything that they are doing and just hold us in some sense of awe and grandeur. However, we need to realize on a lighter note that all those things that we are doing to improve ourselves and to impact lives, nobody sent you work, which is the popular Nigerian pidgin parlance for no one sent you on that assignment. This is why it's important that we learn to lighten up and not take ourselves too seriously. Because we understand that there is nothing that we are trying to achieve that someone hasn't tried to achieve in some way already. And even in the instance where it's something that is totally unique and has never been done before, here's the thing. There are other people out there who have tried and achieved things that were once unique and had never been done before. So we are not alone on our journey. We need to be careful that our sense of significance doesn't get blown into self-importance, because that's the first step towards pride. And we all know what happens. Pride is what goes before a fall. And this is why we need to be careful. This is why we need to do what? Just simply learn to smile and laugh at ourselves, even when things are seemingly going wrong and when things are happening that we seemingly do not understand. This was my own experience while running the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. What happened on Marathon D-Day was the organizers gave the elite runners a head start over those of us, the amateur runners. Now, I was expecting this, and I had heard that this is how most marathons are organized. Now, the one thing I didn't get was why these elite runners were kept somewhere where the rest of us couldn't see them. And the second thing I couldn't get was why, even after these elite runners had gotten their head start, they wouldn't allow the rest of us take off at the same time. Instead, what happened was that they got these big muscular bouncers that you see at nightclubs to divide us into 3 groups to take off at random intervals. Now you can imagine the entire scenario. It was a mess and really upsetting. People were shouting, "Naija is not good, oh, all our things, Ojoro must dey, oh," which is Nigerian pidgin for any event that is organized in Nigeria ends up being crooked. Now, I was in the 3rd batch of runners, and you bet I was really upset as well. Here I was, I had prepared 6 months for this thing, left my house before 5 a.m. that morning just so I could get to the starting point in time, only to be put through a process that none of us understood and which seemed like oppression and manipulation. You bet I was really really super upset. It was at that very moment that a voice just popped up in my head. Kayode, you know what? Just be calm. Don't be upset. In my mind, I'm going, God, I don't understand. What do you mean by I shouldn't be upset? I mean, I barely had a chance if we're all going to start at the same time. Now, I don't just have a 0 chance of winning. I have like a -100 chance of winning. And you are saying I should be calm. The voice says to me again that, Kayode, just be calm and smile. Is it the $50,000 prize you are bothered about? Don't worry, I'll give you something better than that. That changed the dynamic for me. I was running and I had this broad, ridiculous smile on my face because I understood that even if I may not win the $50,000 prize, I will eventually get something way better than that. I mean, people that were standing by the road saw me and just burst out laughing. I could hear their comments. Why is he smiling like that? Look at his teeth. Look at his ridiculous running shoes. I mean, he's coming in last and he's smiling. Now, I could smile because I knew something that they didn't. I had a piece of information that was going through my mind that they didn't. For us to achieve those significant goals, those kind of goals that take our lives to a whole new level, those kind of goals that make us a pleasant surprise to ourselves and to all those around us, that ability to smile and to laugh at ourselves even when things seem to be going all wrong is what gives us the momentum to keep pushing and to keep moving. Because here's the thing, laughter is great medicine. I love the way scripture puts it. It says that a cheerful disposition is good for your health. Gloom and doom leave you bone tired. In another part of scripture, it goes on to say, he has made it plain how to live, what to do, what God expects from every man and from every woman. It's quite simple, really. Do what is just and fair to your neighbor. Be loyal and compassionate in your love. Don't take yourself too seriously, but take God seriously. Now, this is the summary of everything I've been trying to say. In life, let's not take ourselves too seriously. The only person we need to take seriously is God. That's the only person we need to take seriously. And we get to realize that ability not to take ourselves too seriously, that ability to smile and to laugh at ourselves even when things are seemingly going haywire and seem to be going all wrong and we do not understand what is even happening, is what helps keeps things in perspective, is what makes the whole difference, is what makes the entire difference for us. Because we realize that once we have nothing to prove, we are free to live. We are free to give our best, to do the creative best that we can with our lives. This is why it's important that we just laugh at life and we learn to laugh at ourselves. To live a life of no excuses, a life where we crush our goals, where we break barriers, exceed limits, smash records, and go on to be those high performers that God has created us to be. It's helpful to remember that we shouldn't take life too seriously because none of us is going to get out of it alive anyway. Number two, we are absolutely unique, just like everyone else. Number three, at the end of the day, it's important to remember that we are never too good to take out the garbage. And finally, that the brighter we smile, the lighter we feel. And the lighter we feel, the higher we rise and the higher we fly.